Bring him back. Rio Ferdinand has added his voice to the plea to bring back Paul Pogba to Manchester United as he has made a bold submission on the issue concerning Paul Pogba's next club. Welcome to the United Sport, and depending on where you belong, you might enjoy what we're about to talk about because everyone has got an opinion about Paul Labille Pogba. But what exactly does Ruben Amorim think? Subscribe, like, and share as we get proper into it. So last night, was it? Rio Ferdinand, the former Man United captain, a Man United legend, one of the best centre-backs in the history of the Premier League, a guy we all know loves Man United like with all his heart, body, and soul, came out on his podcast and mentioned that he would advise Ruben Amorim to consider letting Paul Pogba back at Carrington and train with the team just to see how he performs, and if he's good, slot him back in it. Now, Pogba left in 2022. Of course, Pogba too ended in 2021. Of course, we know what happened after that. The ordeal he went through with his brothers and family and and then the doping issues and the allegations and then the ban that was long and then cut short. A lot ups and downs of life, really. He really had a proper test of the downs, didn't he? But at 31, he's trying to push his way back into the beautiful game. It's all he knows, Pogba. We know how natural a talent Paul Pogba is. He's a World Cup winner, and you don't have many of them, especially at Man United. There is only one, that is Alejandro Garnacho, who is now even injured. Now, Pogba, I was hearing... I've heard all the best footballers, some of the best footballers talk highly about Pogba. Kylian Mbappe said when he had Paul Pogba with the French national team, all he needed to do was run. He knew Paul Pogba would find him and would pick his run. I heard Kingsley Coman talking about him, saying he was so angered by how he sort of was made to look bad at Man United because he was being asked for too much, especially after his return from Juventus. A lot was said about this guy, but don't we all know a thing or two about Paul Pogba and his abilities? I mean, proper baller. He's so talented on the ball, good without the ball, so energetic. He makes the team play. He's a personality, he's a character. There is a lot about him. And of course, the good we know is perhaps more than the bad. Of course, there is a lot of talk about him and his attitude. We know how he fell out with Jose Mourinho, I think, yet they won, things together in his first season, and was an integral part of it. But right now, Ferdinand feels, if you have such a talent and you're Man United, you're rebuilding a team with so many young players you're focusing on, you need a few experienced players in there. And if you have a player like Paul Pogba, who is, first of all, an academy boy, who is a boy with the roots of the club, you probably want to consider, and again, he's not saying bring him back into the team to play and compete with the senior team, but let him come and train with you, because first of all, for Paul Pogba, he will look at Man United as home. It will always be home because this is the team that gave him his first chance at football and then sold him and then bought him back for a lot of money. He played and won stuff for the team. He was a proper baller. And I'll tell you, people complain about Pogba and how he struggled when he how it ended bad for him. But I actually feel he did his part. Like Kingsley Coman said, he was asked for too much. He was playing in a bad team and was probably one of the only 1, 2, 3 good players in the team. But he was always standing out for the most part of his time there. From the rest, his goals, his assists, he did what he could do in a bad team that had bigger issues away from the pitch that we later on came to learn. So for me, I cannot really sit here and fault and say Paul Pogba flopped at his return at Man United. I think people were, even if Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo were there with that Man United, the way it was, and the rot that was there, that we eventually have come to know, I think they wouldn't shine. In fact, you credit Paul Pogba, you feel he outperformed himself considering what he was, enduring around the club. So I cannot really blame that. But the only issue you would have with Paul Pogba is if he has got character problems. And I don't think he would, because if Paul Pogba indeed had serious character problems, then first of all, he wouldn't have been at Man United for all that time. That's one. But also, Paul Pogba doesn't really seem like that person. If you listen to him talk and you try to read him, of course you want to know, you can't know, but you look at him and try to listen to him and his interviews, try to see how he was at times, should I say, disrespected by Zlatan, and he would just take it, in good stride. He doesn't seem to be that bad a character. For me, I'm not convinced unless again, as Amorim, we know chats with Jose Mourinho, and he keeps texting him. Maybe he could have texted him and told him, "Don't think about it," and perhaps he would listen. But I don't know. I think for me, honestly, unless there is something that the club knows about Paul Pogba's character. But if not, if there is nothing for footballing reasons, it's okay for Pogba to return and train with Man United just to see how he fits in. Because I can imagine a good Pogba, a fit Pogba, in that middle playing next to Manuel Ugarte. That's a different dimension for Man United. That would be a proper different dimension. But also, Paul Pogba's understanding of football would help everyone, including Bruno Fernandes himself. Pogba's understanding of the game, I think, would even make Bruno Fernandes better. It would make Amad Diallo better. Amad looked up to Paul Pogba. It would make the Garnachos better. It would make the strikers look better. You just have to make your run and he would pick you. Because United lacks that player who can play long passes, who can switch play so fast with long passes. Of course, Bruno tries to play long passes, but there's a difference to Paul Pogba's long passes. It's not just long passes that switch play. Pogba's long passes are assists, are splitting up defenses, defense splitting passes. Paul Pogba's long balls are shots on target that will force a goalkeeper into a rebound. Pogba can send a shot to a goalkeeper, a missile from an unexpected position. Pogba will send a missile. He would feign like he's going to take a shot and then chip the ball into an assist. There is a lot about Paul Pogba's game in terms of dimension, and all the things for me are natural. United would need a player like that if he is fit. So for me, I would again re-emphasize what I spoke about already, because Ferdinand as well, I said the same thing, and this is a guy who knows the club inside out. He knows football inside out. I think for me, if there is a chance for Pogba to train with under Amorim in this system, for him to see, I think they would do it. Look at, you have a system where you play wing backs. With wing backs, they always, we do get the ball, they always go wide. You need a player who is going to play the right pass for them to maximize that space they have out wide. Because usually our wing backs are going to be left alone because they are too wide. Every other player is in, so they are too wide and they've got enough space to get the ball. All they need to do is have the right player who is going to give them the right pass, either in the corner flag or towards the corner flag. And Dog, with his physique and pace, will just make a run. So you think about all this and you're thinking Pogba can actually bring a different dimension, open up teams, open up how we play, make us look good in this Ruben Amorim system if he is fit. The first thing to do is to let him there and let him in the team and see his impact on the team. Of course, if it's not good, if he has got a bad personality, they shouldn't let him anywhere close to the club. But if he hasn't, when he trains, you can see whether he will be a good addition. You saw how Johnny Evans, he was just making a stop at Man United to stay fit, and Eric Ten Hag says this guy should be staying. Man United needs midfielders. We might think with Bruno and Ugarte and Collier, the midfield problem is sorted. It's not. United still needs midfielders. It needs players who are going to add more to the attack, creating chances. Pogba is the king of that. So for me, there is every sense in what Rio Ferdinand has said, re-emphasizing what I've said before. Paul Pogba can be given a chance. He's a free agent. He can return to football in March. What is okay for him to be training with the team for 1 month. So for me, I want to see what will happen with that. I want to see where it ends, because AC Milan with Zlatan Ibrahimovic as a consultant, I think might actually also be interested in him. They might give him a chance to train at AC Milan if he wants to go back to Italy. But let's wait and see where he goes. We can't know exactly what's going on. It's good he hinted Pogba himself about a possible return and playing with Amad and stuff. Imagine Amad Diallo with his runs. You see that signature pass now that's becoming signature of Lisandro Martinez. Pogba is the king of such passes. Just make a run, Pogba will find you. With Amad's genius and the way he makes his runs, you know how many assists Pogba can make for Amad if they play in the same team. That is if he is fit. So you cannot know whether he's fit unless you let him train with the team. So for me, I'm for what Rio Ferdinand has advised Ruben Amorim. Pogba can still have space in this team. He's a free agent and he's ours. He's our own. He's Man United. Subscribe, like and share, and give me your opinion about it.